Are you hungry?
Give me something good.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Görgött. Again, I've been inspired for something I saw on Instagram, and I think again it might have been Francine. It's not the same dish, it's probably not even close, but at least the inspiration is from there. So we're making it's basically oxtail in a oxtail sauce with flank steak on top, and in between the oxtail and the flank steak we're making the oxtail really crispy, and in between the oxtail and the flank steak we have carrots, and they're marinated in kind of a special way. It's almost on the border of fermenting, but that's what we're doing today. But before we have a look at the ingredients, do me the favor, if you're not supporting the channel yet, please click the subscribe and check the bell icon. Even if you're only subscribing, check that bell icon so that you get the notifications every week when new episodes are online. Now let's have a look. So obviously in the middle we have our flank. Here we have some beautiful cooked oxtail, and we have some oxtail stock. Now I did this in advance. If you want to see how I make like a normal stock, check that episode out. But it's quite easy, you just need time. It's not a lot of work, but it's a lot of time. And obviously this is the pickings of the oxtail, and this is kind of the liquid gold that you get if you cook it long enough. So we're going to reduce that to become really, really packed with flavor. This has no salt or anything in it yet, so we need to kind of flavor that up. So oxtail stock. We have our carrots. I'll show you in a second how I did them. We have some chive oil. I've showed you many times how to do herb oil. If you haven't seen it, you can look up some past episodes. Some chopped chives and some chopped chilies just to put on top when we serve it. Yeah, and the flank is just fried. So we're gonna slice it thinly. But let's first have a look at how I did the carrots. We have some different carrots here. Ginger, garlic. I'm not going to bore you with the peeling of the carrots and the ginger, but I'll just show you a quick tip, and that's taking a spoon and then just scraping. And that's the quickest way. You just scrape it all off. And like that you don't cut off too much either. So peel your stuff. In addition to this, we're going to need honey, vinegar, and salt. But peel your stuff first. Carrots are peeled. Put a bowl there to put them in. Now you can use just plain carrots. I thought it could be, well, maybe not interesting, but a little bit interesting. Could be a nice addition of color. So I cut them in about, I would say, 3 millimeter slices, and then we're going to slice them even thinner. Something like that. I hope you can see it from up there. So do that to all your carrots, put them in the bowl, and then I'll see you in a bit. We're done with our carrots. Now I used about half of what you saw that I had here. The rest I'll give to my daughter for school lunch or something healthy. But I think it gives quite a nice color when you mix it up like that. So now we have to make the liquid that this is going to go into. I already put the vinegar in the bowl. I would say it's about 5 tablespoons. We have 3 cloves of garlic that we're going to grate in. Be careful not to grate your fingertips. And about the same amount, we can scrape this off so we see the amount, about the same amount of ginger. Takes a bit longer to grate the ginger than the garlic. I think that should do it. We scrape off the rest. Good pinch of salt. 2. And now for the honey. We start with about half a tablespoon. We can always add more. And now we whisk all of this together, making sure that the honey dissolves nicely. Give it a quick taste. Garlic's fine, ginger's fine, vinegar's fine. Needs a little bit more. Let's do another half tablespoon of honey. That should do the trick. You need to try to find that balance between sweet and sour. Whisk in the honey again. Let's give it a last taste. Hope that it's good. That's perfect. Really nice and fresh, sour, but also a little bit sweet. Now let's mix it together. We just add this on top of our carrots. Mix that a bit with your hand. And now the trick is to leave this for a day or two. It's almost at room temperature, so that you can almost, it doesn't really ferment, but it starts kind of, it's on the edge of starting the fermentation. So we're just going to fill up a container. Make sure we get everything in there. Pour the juice on top. And then we don't put the lid on, but we kind of leave it open like that, at least for a day. Now, in between, when you walk past it and you feel like it, it's not too bad if you forget it, but give it a little bit of a shake so that it distributes the liquid again. And that's our carrots. And you see here the result. Obviously, I haven't done it before with 3 different color carrots, and as you can see, it didn't really matter that I had 3 different colors. It looks like one color now. You can see some different shades, but to be honest, don't bother with it. Just get normal carrots and do it with that. But now let's start with the stock. Let's get a pot on, because we need to reduce this probably 2/3 down. But let's see the consistency. But get a pot on with this. And there's nothing more satisfying. Well, there are more satisfying things, but one of the more satisfying things in life is the kind of gelatinous consistency of a good stock. So that's on there. That's going to reduce. Now we'll move over there to crispy up our oxtail, and then afterwards to fry our flank. So we have our stock reducing here. It's almost the way we want it. In the meantime, we put a big frying pan on, heated it up, quite high heat, and now we're just going to crisp these up. While that is happening, we can add some salt to our stock, a good pinch. Whisk it up a bit. Give it a taste. That's perfect. That's all you need if you have a good stock, is a bit of salt. And you want to add the salt at the end to the stock, because otherwise there's a risk that you will over salt it. We need to add some salt to our oxtail as well. There's nothing as nice as a well-seasoned pan where stuff doesn't stick without actually having to add stuff, like butter or oil. Not that butter is ever bad, but we reduce maybe for another minute or so, and then our stock is done. A good way to see if you have enough salt is to kind of touch the meat and then lick your fingers. That's perfect. The same goes for if you want to, when you fry vegetables and you want to taste or try if you have enough seasoning. Just touch them and then lick off your fingers, and it gives you a good idea of how well you season anything. So our stock is done. I will take that off now. Keep it on the side. Now the oxtail has quite a lot of fat in it, so it can take heat like this. It can take crisping up. You don't really have to worry about it getting dry. But this is almost to the point where we want it. Should be some crispy parts to it. And we'll take this now, and then we'll keep it warm in the oven at around 50 degrees Celsius while we fry up our flank. we're good to go with our flank. I salted and peppered it on the side that's down now. That means we have to do the same here. So let's see if we can turn this with our hands. We can. And now in with a nice chunk of butter. I'll switch this around. Let it melt. And then we just scoop it a bit on top. Butter is a nice flavor enhancer. Now you can add a twig of rosemary and garlic or any kind of herb to get a little bit of taste of that. But I don't want this for this dish. I want kind of the carrots to be one of the main flavor givers. Yeah, I think it's pretty much ready for resting. What we'll do now is we'll take it off the heat, put it in aluminium foil, keep it there for 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'll see you when we cut it up. So our oxtail is keeping warm in there. Our oxtail stock reduction is keeping warm there. Our flank has rested. I had to cut into it and try a bit. It's a little bit more than I would have liked, but that's still okay. So I will just slice 2 slices. The rest my family would eat later. And now it's ready to plate. But before we do that, if you stuck with me this far, as always, hit that thumbs up button. Do me that favor, support me and the channel by hitting it. It's down there. Now let's plate up. We have everything we need. We'll grab a little bit of oxtail. Arrange it. And now for our carrots. Just on top like that. And now our oxtail stock. You don't need much because this is really powerful stuff. Some of our chive oil. And then onto our meat. Some chives. And some chilies. Now I have to say, I'm really not so happy with the cooking of the meat. Should have been at least a minute less, maybe even 2. But it's still gonna taste good. Now let's try it. I mean, it would suck if we were all perfect, right? As you all know, I'm not a professional chef. So I can make mistakes like this. But I don't mind too much, because the sauce is fantastic. You should just dip it in the sauce. This is pretty spectacular. Need some of the carrot, some of the oxtail, some of the flank, and the sauce. It has a bit of heat there because of the chilies. It's not too much. That chive oil really packs a punch and goes so well with the oxtail stock. The oxtail stock is nicely reduced. It's like pure umami in there. Yes, the flank could have been a bit less fried, but it's edible for sure. And the carrots. It has a bit of an Asian touch to it because of the ginger and the chili. For me, it's almost perfect. If the meat would have been cooked a bit better, meaning a bit less, it would have been perfect. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this dish. Thank you for sticking with me. Don't forget, if you're not doing so yet, subscribe, check the bell icon, hit the like, leave a comment. You know the drill. But this is it. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.